Thank you.
Who else would like to answer?
I'd like to jump in on this one. First of all, I'd like to dispel a myth that when a minimum wage job is a starter job. It's not a starter job. 50% of the people making minimum wage are between the ages of 16 and 24. So that means that the other 50% are over the age of 24. We know that 35% of people making minimum wage are women, and they are working at or below minimum wage with part-time hours. So I can tell you from my work that these are not starter jobs. These are not necessarily kid jobs. And at minimum wage, that gives you $290 a week if you are able to secure 40 hours. If you are able to secure 40 hours, that gives you $1,160 a month, or only $15,000 a year before taxes, Social Security, and Medicare. That said, if you are making minimum wage, you are being subsidized by your employer. Your employer is being subsidized by the government because minimum wage workers are using our government system, are using our government programs, are using, needing help with subsidized housing, of which we have very, very little housing here in New Hampshire. We have very, very little affordable housing in New Hampshire. You cannot work a minimum wage job if you are able to secure 40 hours and keep yourself at the 30% or less threshold of your take-home pay. So it is a myth that it is a starter job. It is absolutely not. And New Hampshire used to have a minimum wage. We had a minimum wage, and it was eliminated in 2011, which defaulted us to the federal minimum wage. In Maine, they have a ballot initiative coming up this election where they will seek to raise their minimum wage to $9 by next year and $12 by the year 2020. So a graduated minimum wage is a very, very good idea. In Vermont, the minimum wage is $9.60 per hour. In Rhode Island, it's $9.60. In Connecticut, it's $9.60. And in Massachusetts, it's $10. So we are so well below, and our citizens can't afford, the 35% of women who are working minimum wage hours can't afford to live this way. The 50% of New Hampshire workers who are at or below minimum wage just can't afford to stay there. So I would highly support raising the minimum wage, although it does need to be gradual. It can't be a full-on slap because we have to account for a benefits cliff. And to think that the economy at a 2% unemployment can't sustain a raise in the minimum wage isn't true. So I'd like to move that. I'd like to move that forward in Concord.
I think we just got
I am not so cynical to think that raising your voice for or against anything in our government is ceremonial. I think that voices together can do great, great things, as evidenced by Roe v. Wade, as evidenced by the civil rights, as evidenced by how we are all here tonight. If it were only ceremonial, none of us would be here right now. So I agree, we should overturn Citizens United, and I think that the Stratham representatives going to Concord should raise their voices to say, in Stratham, we would like to take big money and dark money out of politics and overturn Citizens United. And when other towns join us, it becomes a powerful force. Well, I would like to just let you know that it's not super rosy here in New Hampshire, and that gun violence is very, very real, and threatening with guns is very, very real, and keeping protections in place so that police chiefs have some oversight and have some involvement with their towns' citizens who are gun owners, keeps responsible gun owners forefront. And while we are not Chicago, we absolutely have a high amount of gun violence here in New Hampshire, and we do see that.